Welcome everyone to the new live, and in today's live, basically we are going to go over the collection system. And now what I mean by collection system, well, if we go over here, uh not there, but yeah, this one. So inside inventory, I wanted to have notes and files, right? So let me select. Okay. So inside inventory, I want like kind of a menu where we have options, just like the options menu. We have graphics and accessibility and journal and stuff like that. Over here, we will have options like found notes, or maybe found keys that we got from places, and probably a map, and maybe a place where we save all kinds of log and save codes and stuff. But that can also come over here. So codes and stuff. Now I will think about the last one later, but in today's video, we're going to focus on this thing right here. So in our world, we have few nodes. So I basically have two places where I placed two nodes. And what I want to do is one of them which contains the code for the load. So let's think of it this way. We have a map, a really big map, and there is a log over here. And we have a combination code over here. And the player basically go through each of the room and forgets about the log. Now, either he or she travels back and look at the code and then come back and then try it again, and maybe they misread something. It can be bothering for people. So to fix that issue, I'm going to make so that we have a menu where we can have all kinds of notes that we ever read in one place. And then we can also sort of these nodes and put codes and keys in one place, so that we know that we have key for a certain door, and we have lock codes and maybe safe codes for certain lock and safes. Nice drawings. All right, so that is today's topic. But if I have more time, I may work on the world a bit, and then maybe something else. But I think for now, today's work is about the notes. So let's get into it. So first of all, we have to go to the widgets and hertz, because I really don't want them to go inside here, but it can be miscellaneous. Now let's go with HUD. So inside HUD, we're going to create a new folder called collections. It is more of a inventory than any kind of collection, but we can make it work like that. Right, there was a bit of a problem with mic, and I hope it is fixed now. Right, so what we wanted to do, like, there are two options that we can go with in this case. First option is we have the menu kind of like this. Uh, and let's come over here. So let's imagine that this is the map. So one option is that we have the menus like this. So four or three, as many menus as we can. Or we have them like this. So over here we have the categories like notes, codes, or maybe map, or maybe something else. And then over here we have the collection. So maybe this, let's say, notes. And once you click over here, you will see that there are many notes over here of different collections. Give me a minute. So these are kind of the collections that we can go with. So let's say that there are 5 notes in the world, right? Different characters wrote these letters for someone else to read, right? So we have, let's say, a letter name called 5x127. Okay, this is just basic code. Then there is, maybe let's say we arrange them with dates. Okay, so let's say that there is one menu for records. Okay, records for the project that they were doing. And inside that records, we have dates like 207 1987, and then basically we have different dated codes here, notes here or records. And then over here we have the basic description. Whatever there was written in the note will be written over here. So basically we take the contents of a particular note, give it a name, a place inside of our menu, and then we transfer it to the, basically we can see them anytime we want. So I think this is much more modular because we can have many more menus than basically these ones, and we can scroll them through. So that reason I think I'm going with this, and we don't want this. All right, so first thing first, we want to have a scroll box. Okay, so a scroll box, but before that we also need a horizontal box, and I will tell you like why do we really need them. So horizontal box will go inside the canvas panel. Anchors will be the whole screen, and everything else is going to be 0. Now for the scroll box, it's going to be it's going to exist inside the horizontal box. Okay, and we're going to call this the uh, category. Category. Right, and then we're going to click on fill. But this particular category is going to only fill 0.2. Okay, it will not change, but it will change when we have more of them. So if I duplicate this and duplicate this one more time, then over here we have, first of all, the categories, then the contents. No, not the content. Um, Options, contents. I will, yeah, let's go with content, and this one can be the description. All right. So what we need to change is that this particular description is going to be 0.6, this content is going to be 0.2, and this is going to be 0.2. So we have this kind of interface where we have these two, where we can select the options, a particular category, and then a particular node. And over here, we will have the description of it. All right. And after this, we're going to get different categories. So we're going to duplicate, not duplicate, but put a horizontal box in. And this is going to be category 1. Fill, but only this way. And then we're going to have a button here. And this button is also going to be filled. Also a text. All right, so now we have basically a horizontal box with a button with a text inside the buttons, and then we can categorize these buttons. Now you can do one more thing. You can just basically put it inside the scroll box here, and then we can say that don't fill it that way and just fill it the horizontal alignment. This works similarly to that of a horizontal box, and there will be less clutter, and there will be less clutter in the menu. All right, so yeah, we're going to do it this way. Category, um, let's just call this notes. Okay, I'm going to call the text block notes as well. Now once you have this, we can now move on to creating even more stuff. But for now, just going to keep it as notes. Now, what we need to do is add a, yeah, over here. User interface, user blueprint, widget blueprint, user widget, and we're going to create a collection slot. Okay, and inside this collection slot will be the basic collection. Okay, the basic difference is that we, like, over here we don't know how many things, how many nodes are going to be, so basically we cannot hard code them. We have to create them one by one. We have to uh, place them there in runtime. So for that, we have to have a collection slot, which will work kind of like the basic. So what collection slot will have is basically this button, and there will be, okay, let me just do it. So we're going to have a button, okay, just a simple button, and then there's going to be text inside it, and that's basically it. Okay, that's basically it. Now what we can do is we can hold this, so we can get the collection slot and we can put it over here. As you can see, it works similar to what we have over here inside the notes. So it's basically a button, a text inside it, but we can edit them in runtime, we can add them, and we can modify them. All right. So now what we need to do is get the code. Right. So this description over here, going to get a text box or basic text, put it over here, make it fill up everything, and then we're going to give it a padding of, let's say, 50, maybe 25. Yeah, and let's also give paddings to these two things as well. All right, so let's give padding of, let's say, 5, oh, maybe 25. Right, so we have like a little bit nicer look to it rather than complete basic. Or if you want to have well adjusted padding everywhere, then we can select both of them again, and then we can open this up and remove the right padding. So this is going to be 0. So now they may look weird on the canvas, but they will look kind of nice on when we use them, basically. Okay, so for now, we're going to just check if this is working. And what we're going to do is we need to create more of these slots, right? And how can we do that? Let me do a search on this. How to add more widgets on Unreal. How to add more widget on runtime in Unreal. How to add slow. Okay, just like that. Okay. Da, 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 da. Okay, so um ah, So what we want to do is, let's say that we want to create a widget, right? Wait a minute, not that one. So we want to create a widget. Time, use, motion graphics, create a base widget, slot, example, inventory slot, adding to bring, add at runtime, create an instance of your slot widget, add it as a child to suitable parent container widget such as vertical box, horizontal wrap box, scroll box. Create a widget set variable add child. So let's see. So if I delete this slot that we just created, and upon construct, we're going to give it a delay of let's say 1 second, right? So that we know that it's completely empty before. And then we're going to create a widget, and this is going to be this slot, and we're going to basically set child, no, child, maybe let's get content is variable, set child child, has child or add child content this. So if this works, right, then it works. Let's see if it works. What we're basically going to do inside the preparing shaders, I'm using all of these things, but instead of that, we're just going to create a widget called collection menu. And we're basically going to use that. Okay, we didn't put it to the viewport. So as you see, we do have the text block appear right here. Now it doesn't really have the contents that we need, but we can put this in the world. Now there is one more thing that I need to change, right? And the thing that I need to change is basically this. Let's remove this, whatever. And what we're going to do after a delay, we're going to get the contents and not the delay basically. So we're going to get the contents and we're going to set size or padding. Okay. So this should be a normal padding. Um, okay, we may not be able to do that. Let me go over here. And inside the contents, we do have the padding itself. We don't have the contents padding. Okay, over here, the horizontal scrolled content padding and vertical, right? So we're going to create that padding by in itself. So if we add the slot, right, the content slot, as you can see, this is where it will appear originally. But if we go to the contents and we go to over here and we put 25 and 25, it didn't change. It did not change. Scroll bar padding, style, brush, shadow bar style, availability behavior. Um, I mean, we can do this. But yeah, let's forget about that. Maybe let's go over here and we can set padding this way, right? Split struct, and we're going to make this 25, this 25, 20, 25, and 0 on right. Yeah. So maybe let's do this after adding it. So this is what we are basically doing. We are creating the widget, then we are adding it to the child of the contents, and then we are setting the padding for it. But even now, we don't really have like what is the text, what is the description of this content collection widget, right? And what we really going to do. So all of that is actually going to happen inside the content slot itself. And what is going to happen is on event pre-construct. Wait, no, wait. Okay, on event construct for now. So on event construct, what we're going to do is we're going to have a text, okay, a button text, right, which is going to be simple text. And then we're going to have the description. Probably not. Wait. I mean, the text is going to be different, right? So if we make a array of this text and add a description with that array, I mean, it's going to work, right? Right. I need to think about this. But for now, let's just go with this. So this button text is going to be hide and expose on spawn. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over to this particular text, make it a variable. Then we're going to get this, and we're going to say set text. Okay, but this is going to be a different thing. Yeah, this is completely different thing. Just make them variable. This is going to be the button text. Remove that, remove that. Okay, over here, button text, and over here we're going to get button. And then we're going to get the button and on pressed, not on click, because sometimes it doesn't work. We're going to get event dispatcher, and we're going to say click. Okay, and we're going to call this every single time we press this button. Now let's go back to the collection menu, and let's refresh this. And then we're going to get this collections load. We're going to set button where did it go? Oh yeah, make sure that they are visible. Variable is not public and will not be editable for an instance of this blueprint. What about this? Maybe we do have to do it the other way. Button text, set text, and then we're going to have a promote variable in text, expose on spawn, compile, save, go over to collection menu, refresh it again, and over here I'm just going to say height. Okay, and what we're going to do on key press 1, we're going to create this widget. Okay, and then we're going to add it to the child of this content scroll box, and then we're going to set a padding to it. But there is something else. I want to know if this is going to change or not. This height is going to change or not. So we're going to go and make this we're going to create a node called literal string. Literal string. Okay, and then we're going to append this. This is going to be height, and this is going to be a integer value, which we basically going to change each time we do this. Okay, so let's just add a simple integer value like so, and then we're going to add 1 to it, and that will be our this. Okay, so what it should do, it should say kite 1, kite 2, kite 3, kite 4, kite 6, like that, instead of just saying kite. That way we will know if this is modular or it's just change every single text. So if we play, as you can see, it is empty. Let's go back to the collection menu, designer, and let's delete this. And remember, we have to press 1. Okay, 1. Kite 1, kite 2, kite 3, kite 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It works. Okay, now we can add new menus. As soon as we collect a node, we can send a signal to this menu to store a bit of array inside it. And as soon as we launch this menu, we will basically do the same thing. Okay, we will go through the array and we will put output every e- each and one of each one of them and print them out. Okay, and all of them are going to have a unique index, which is pretty important. Okay, because that particular unique index is going to let us know like what is the actual description of this. All right, so now let's make that array, but give me a second. Hello. Okay, so now we need to create that particular array. So go inside variable and we're going to create an uh, content array. But this is going to be a special type of array. Okay, it's going to not only be containing integer as a index, which is basically a simple index of array. So let me show you. Oh, okay. So a simple array is basically this. Okay, it's a collection of things and actual things. No, not real things, but it's a collection of things that have a assigned index to them, and then we can access all of these by few ways. Either we can just call a particular index and we can just get any content inside it. And there is one more thing, is that we can call a particular index and also add stuff inside it. So we can edit the array using index and we can get stuff from the array using index. But there is something much better when when we do array, is that if you know structs, okay, in Unreal Engine basically, and in C++ basically, we have structs. If I spell it correctly, I don't know. And what does structs do? So basically what a array will store, basic, okay, complete basic. If you doesn't create a struct, it can have string, integer, float, text, any of the following. If I go over here, and let's say that over here we have content array, and I want this content array, which is currently integer, to be uh, a array of type integer. And what I have to do is go over to this node and just click on array, and now it's a integer array. It can contain types of integer inside it. Okay, but now it is fixed. It is basically fixed. We cannot enter a string with a integer here. Okay, it can only be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. It can also not be 3.3 because that's float. That's a double value, right? Yeah. So we cannot input that in here as well. If we do so, it will try to make this into a integer, which basically if it is a string, the output will be 0. If it's a float or a double value, let's say 3.3, then it will make it 3. That's just conversion from other nodes to integer. This is basic conversion. This is not related to array. It's just that the array in itself will only store integer if we set it to integer. But what structs can do is that structs in itself can contain multiple types of stuff inside it. Okay, so what we can do is we can have a name, a age, or let's say a number. Okay, maybe a favorite number of a particular person. Okay, so let me show you what we can do. So we have to create the struct first. So we're going to go inside blueprint and create a structure, and this is going to be simple name structure. Okay, and inside this structure we can set multiple values, and I'm going to have three values. Firstly, we're going to have a name, then we're going to have the age, and then we're going to have a number. Okay, and what we're going to do is that the name in itself is going to be a text because we're going to use it inside the buttons as well. And then the age is going to be integer and the number is, let's say, going to be float. Okay, so we have these three different types of integer, and what we can do is go inside the content menu, change this back to single, go over here and search for the struct that we just created, which is simple name structure, and then we can make array of this. Now this is the exciting part because you can actually compile and add contents to this array, and as soon as we add one, as you can see, we have index 0 and there is 3 members, and we can change name, age, and number of this character. Let's say that the first name is Arp. Okay, age is 21, and my favorite number is 77.7756. Okay, this is a random number. This is not my favorite number. And what I want to do is let's add 3 more. Okay, not 3 more. Let's add 3 indexes so that we know that it works. Okay, and inside this we will say kite, age is 500 and number is this. Then another name is Jule and age is 8000 and number is some random number. Now what we want to do is the text, the button text over here is going to be this name right here, but the description, okay, as soon as we click on the number, this particular description is going to change to all of the contents. Basically it's going to read all of those things and print them up. So let's try to do that. Let's try to solve this problem. So instead of 1, what we're going to do is we're going to do this on event construct. And before we do that, let's also go to description block, this one. We're going to call this description. Okay, okay, and we're going to get this and set to set text to nothing. Okay, so over here we're going to just set the text to basically be nothing. Now what we want to do is we want to create a for each loop, and for each loop accepts a array, which is this content array right here, and it's going to output a struct now. Okay, so instead of a integer or a name, it's going to output a struct. And if we break open this struct, now we have the name, age, and number. And what we want to do is we want to create a float widget with this particular name, and we're going to add child and paddings to it. Okay. Now I'm going to take a break and come back real soon. So be right back. All right, I'm back. Uh, stay hydration. Okay. So over here we are creating the widget with the text name, right? But how are we going to actually access this? Because right now, if I try to play this, okay, it's going to create arc, kite, and Jude, but nothing happens when we click them, right? So what do we do? What do we do in this case? How can we make this work? So what can we do is we have to firstly delete this. It was bugging me. And now we're going to get the bind event. Remember the bind event we created for the slot, this one right here. Now we're going to create this. Okay, so we're going to get on clicked bind on clicked bind event to on clicked, and the target is going to be this one right here. Button object reference is not compatible with collection slot object reference. What? This is a collection slot. What? Huh. Hmm. Hmm. Look right here, collection slot object reference, and when we put it, collection slot object reference is not compatible with button object reference. Okay, so this is different on collect. Okay, on collect. I might have to change this event dispatcher. Wait, just collect. It is just collect. Okay, so we need to drag this and say collect. Okay, we're going to bind event. We're just going to say assign. So it's easier. And now what we need to do is get the index of the particular slot that we clicked on. Okay, and how we are going to do that is by okay, let's let's go over here and on click this one, we're going to add a input which is going to give us the text of uh, text. Okay, compile, save, and this is basically going to return the text of the button. Okay, and going to go back to the collection menu, and now we have this output. And what we're going to do is we're going to check, does the array contain item? Okay, and we're going to break this. Now the age and number is going to be difficult because I just need to search for the name, but the structure is going to be different. maybe we can create a separate um, let's just see if this works, right? Let's just see if this works. I'm going to just disable agent number, and we're going to check if the text exists, if the content array contain the name. Okay, and if it does contain the name, then for now we're going to print string hello, and another one will be bye. And now let's test it out. So if you press archite, it just says bye. Not good. Definitely not good. So what else can we do? Because this should contain that. Or maybe we can just print this text. Oh, but it doesn't say that. Um, okay, so it does exist. It does exist. Got it? But this one is saying that it doesn't. Okay. How about we go with for each loop, right? And we go through each of them, right? We loop body, we get this, we break this, and we check if this name is equal to, okay, equal exactly text to this text, right? Then we're going to break a branch, and then we're going to get the index. Okay, for now we're just going to get the index, and we're going to save this. Okay, current pressed. I mean, we can make it even more simple. We can do everything over here. So what we can do is we're going to get the index, reroute it right here. Then we're going to get the content array, and we already have the agent number, so we don't even need to worry about it. Get the description block, set text to text, and on false we're going to set it to nothing. Oh, no. Yeah, and this text will be make lit literal string append, and then we're going to add all of these things. So firstly name, then age, and then uh, the number, and in between we're going to press space so that there is a difference between all of these, and then we're going to put that as our index. No need for the index for now. All right, and what we're going to do every time we click this, okay, I'm not talking about the for each loop, but I'm talking about when we are clicking on different text. We're just going to set this to empty. Okay, so now if I click on arc, it will say arc 21, and this is your favorite number, height or joule. So as you can see, we have notes, then the slots, and then some other ones. Now there is one more thing that we need to fix right here, and that thing is the names and stuff. Okay, so first of all, let's just delete everything and we're going to do it all over again. This was, you can think of it like basic description how we're going to do everything. Okay, and now let's go delete this, cancel, make sure that everything is saved and compiled, and then delete this. Now we're going to create a new structure. I'm going to call this collection, just collection. Okay, and inside this we're going to have the button text. Okay, which is going to be basic text. Then we're going to have description. Okay, which is going to be basic description. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Text. Yeah, it's also going to be text. The other thing that we want to do is the spelling for description. Description. Okay, and hmm, yeah, I think for now this is enough. If you want something else, we can update it later. So now we're going to get that structure. So collection struct, and this time we're not actually going to call them the collection struct. These are going to be struct of different categories. So this is going to be notes collection. Okay, so instead of the normal basic collection, this is going to be notes collection, and we're going to go inside structures and search for uh, collection structure. And now if we attach, if we get this, go for each loop, yeah, this is going to be an array, and let's also add few default values so that we can test. I'm going to add two of them. The first one is going to be note 1 description. You should, oh my god, you should play this game nicely. I don't know why. And then there is going to be a note for controls. Controls. Okay, and there can be a full description of everything. So movement. Okay. This is a text. So it should have, okay, it's not letting me enter it. So we do have to set up the description. Okay, we do have to like set up description in another way, but I will show you. It will work. It will work. It will work. Yeah, it will work. For now, it's just that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to get this and we're going to go for each loop. All right. And then we're going to get the array element, and we can also just split struct it right over here. Go inside the loop body, set the button text to int text, and now we're going to get all of these created. Once all of these are created, then we're going to go inside the text right here, and every single time we click on it, we go and check everything, and then we get the text of it. But instead of this, we're going to use for each loop with break, because we don't know, we don't want to do any more. Uh, um, we don't want to waste any performance, So split struct, then we're going to check, is this equal, okay, equal exactly to this text right here. And if this is uh go to break branch, and then in true we're going to have a sequence. In one we're going to break it, and in zero we're going to set up the description. Also, before we do any of this, we also have to set up description text to be empty. Okay, and the in text is going to be this text. All right, now let's play. So we have notes, and inside notes we have note 1 and controls. Wait a minute. Give me a minute. All right. So now if I click on note 1, you should play this game nicely. And controls is sabra shush. Now we're going to create multiple categories so that we know that it's a proper collection and not just some random menu. Okay. Now, is this looking nice? Is this? Absolutely not. This looks hideous. But we will change how the menu looks in a bit. For now, we don't really have to worry about that. Let's create more categories. Wow, what is happening here? Oh, now I see. Now I see indeed. Maybe we just have to go with auto. Okay. So now this one is going to be called um, codes. Okay, and this one is going to be called um, etc. Okay, notes, codes, etc. So I really don't have in mind what I'm going to put in these two. I just want them to exist like separate categories so that we can use them in future. And so let's create new collections. Also, let's change the names. So this button is going to call codes, and this button is going to called extra. Right. And now what we want to do is get the node, get the X, duplicate this nodes collection, and we're going to get extra collection and duplicate this, and this is going to be the codes collection. Right, and in the codes collection, for now, just going to compile everything, and instead of these two inputs, we're going to say code 3 hashtag, and this is the basic code. And now in the controls, we're going to add code hashtag 757, and this is the other code. They are completely useless because none of my coding system actually used that many numbers. One uses 6 and one uses 4. But they will help us in knowing that we are choosing between different categories. All right, so now we're going to go inside extra collection and we're going to make them empty. So going there's nothing inside these array basically. Okay, so now what we're going to do, instead of doing this on event construct, we're going to do this on event construct. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wait. Maybe let's select the notes by default, right? Yeah, let's select notes by default. Now, if we ever select the extra, we're going to get on clicked or on pressed. Okay, on pressed, on extra, we're going to get the content and then we're going to remove child. Remove all attributes. Maybe let's go with child. Remove child at. Okay, so this actually removes like particular child. How do we remove every child? Empathy. Remove all bone tracks, all attributes. Remove all curve. Remove item. Remove child at. Index 0. Can we get the length? Get all children. Okay, okay. We're going to get all children, and then we're going to go with for each loop, and we're going to delete all of them. Okay, we're going to remove every single one of them. It can be, I think it can be a bit performance heavy, but I really don't know. For now, we are removing every single children that this content have. And upon completion, we're going to get the extra collection and we're going to do this particular thing again. Okay, we're going to do this particular thing again, but we don't really have to change this, do we? We can go this way as well. Notes collection. And then the extra collection, then the codes collection. So, okay, yeah, we're going to uh, promote this to a variable. We cannot do that. Let's add a index this is going to be the category index. Category index. Okay, and this index will help us know on which particular point are we. Okay, so I'm going to select all of these, and right after selecting the notes collection, so this is basically the same code for the notes collection, and we're going to set the category to 0. But upon the extra, when we click on extra, right, we're going to do all of these things very similarly. Okay, we're just going to delete this, add this array, and then we're going to change the category index to, what is this, uh 1. Okay, so make sure that you are setting up the correct category index depending on what you have put it inside this select bar. Okay, because the index over here doesn't matter, the index over here doesn't matter, the index at which we are selecting them matters. Okay, so you have to like select them based on that index. Now let's go with codes. On pressed, we're going to do basically everything similarly, but we're going to change the extra collection to codes collection. And then we're going to go inside notes, and on pressed, let me move them over here, and on notes pressed, we're going to set the notes and also change the index. This is going to be 0 and this is going to be 2. So now preferably everything should work. I hope so. I don't know so, because I think this bind event may cause some problems, but we will see. We will see. Right, so right now we have the default, which is basically nodes. If we go to codes, now we have controls, which didn't die. Why did it not die? Wait a minute. We went through get all children's, we get through the array, and then we delete all of them. We have to delete all of them. So why did it not delete all of them? Huh? What is happening? Let me also add a blur behind this so that it does know that we are still on the code. Blur. Anchors to everywhere and 0, 0. Strength is going to be 550. All right. So now what we need to do is so for some reason this collection is not deleting everything, or like it's deleting everything but not the last child for some reason. And why? Maybe what we can do is instead of removing child, we can uh re remove child at. Okay, so now we can add index to this, which I think is much better. Let's check. Nope, it is not. So for some reason, as you can see, if I click over here, in this one, the node 3 is left. In this one, now node 1 is left, but we deleted both of these. So yeah, so for some reason, this particular option, this right here, so 0 gets deleted, 2 gets deleted, but 1 doesn't get deleted. What? Why? Why? Why is the question indeed? Indeed. Indeed. Da, 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 da. Let me see how to delete all contents from a scroll bar in Unreal. To delete child UMG from scroll box. I tried everything but nothing works. Have everything remove from parent and point it at the widget that you wish to get rid of. Remove from parent doesn't work. Inside add the widget. Okay, let's try removing from the parent. Why not? So remove from parent, and we're going to remove all of the array elements. And if I go to codes, still doesn't do that. Still is not doing it. One of them is remaining. Still is not doing it. How about we print? What I am thinking is this is the problem. This get old children is the problem. Hmm. So how do we fix this? Da-da, da-da. Wait a minute. Um, did you see that? What just happened? When what did just happen? Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I have another idea. What we can do is we can get the category index, right? And this category index will basically tell us which one of them to choose. Okay, so basically doing this same thing. Okay, and now because we already know which of the collection are currently up, this is one of these collection are currently online, and what we want to do is get reference or get copy. We're going to get reference and but it needs this length. Yeah, so we're going to get the length of this array, and then we're going to run the loop, okay, for each loop, for loop, just for loop. Yeah, for loop, and the length is going to be the last index. Okay, and we're going to loop through the body, and not this one. We're going to get the content, and we're going to remove. Oh, now I'm getting. Now I know what is happening. Ah, okay, okay. Let me tell you what is actually happening. So let's imagine that there is a stack. Okay, there's a stack of things. 0, 1, 2. Now, what we are basically doing right now is we are removing 0. Okay, the for each loop says that removes 0, then remove 1, then remove 2. So now listen closely what is actually going to happen. At the point when the for each loop say remove 0, it removes 0, but then it also updates itself. Now, the upper two are not 2 and 1, they are basically 0 and 1. So what is happening is now this is done. Now this one will run, and instead of deleting this particular position, it deletes this one. Magic. Magic. So what we have to do is somehow make it so that it removes from upside down. Okay, so instead of removing like from 0, 1, 2, 3, it removes from 3, then 2, then 1, and then 0. That way, the index itself will not change, and it will delete everything. Haha, I figured it out. So now what we have to do in this case is we have to get the length index. Okay, so whatever the length index is, and we have to -1 this because uh, of this, because length index. Okay, so let's say that there are 4 arrays. Their index is going to be this, but their length is going to be 4. So if we use 4, it's going to uh, try to call 4 which doesn't exist. Okay, so that's why we need to negative this, and that will be our last index, and that is also going to be our deletion index. D-E-D-D-A-L-E. Okay, we're going to set this index right before this, and then we're going to go over here, and in each loop body, okay, not this one, this one, in each loop body we're going to negative this of whatever it is. Got it? Now what is going to happen is that it's going to go through all of these numbers, this deletion index, and it's going to delete all of the contents, and hopefully it will work. So remove child at, and the index is going to be deletion index. And we don't have to worry about the index. It's and the last index and first index is basically to run the code for as long as for all of the collection. Uh, yeah. This is basically to run the for each loop for the amount of the contents we have inside the array. Yeah, right. So now let's connect the complete to here, and now let's copy all of these. And you know what we can do is we can actually make them into a function. Okay, or we can collapse this to a macro. We're going to actually collapse this to a macro. I'm going to call this empty the empty the contents. Okay, we're going to open this up, and we're going to add the complete to this one, and we're going to add the loop body to here as well. Okay, so this one is going to be the loop body. So if we want to do something else outside of here, and one is going to be complete. So now this code is completely separate from each of them, and what we can do is basically use this instead of uh, messing up the whole code. Okay, so now let's play. As you can see, it works. The mouse disappears sometimes, but it works. Yay! All right. Now let's also test if the description for each of them is working, because that's the main concern. So note, control, code, code 3 doesn't really work. Now even these are not working. Okay. So this is not a way to do it. So what we're going to do is basically delete all of these things. We're going to add node back here, and then we're going to add this whole sequence. Okay, and nay, we can do one more thing. We can add this to here. Okay, you're not letting me. Okay, now it doesn't really have that in the bind event, so it's not really going to work with the bind event. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. All right then. So now we're basically going to copy this and paste them just like that. Something extra. I know I know. I know this doesn't really connect with this one, but it will work. We just need to disconnect them and move. eh, I don't know why I like to put home. Okay, this is extra. This is code then. Yeah, this is extra, and this is no. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Du-du-du-du-du-du-du. Du-du-du-du-du. Du-du-du-du-du. All right. Oh yeah, these should have connection. So we're just going to add them like so. Nice. Now there is a problem over there, so let's add that back too. All right, so now I think everything is going to work. We basically have to add a particular array to this. So extra bind, this is for codes, and this is for notes. Let's see. If I press on code, nothing happens. This one worked, these one doesn't. Okay. Da, da, da. Da, da, da. I'm sorry about that. La, da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Oh my god. Oh my god. Don't tell me. Please. Please. So the reason so the reason why nothing was working is because this is not connected. Why? Okay, it works. It works. Right, so now we can change the description to many other things rather than just being basic plain text. We can maybe add few images. We can change the textures to that images based inside the structure in itself. We can do all of these things. So pretty awesome. The base structure is done, and I think like probably I will like update this tomorrow as well. But for now, this is done. Now we just need to set up the functionality of us picking up a note, and then it will add that to the array of this whole section. Okay, so let's do that. Content. Let's also go to the level maps prototype build. Go to it's going to take a long time. I'm going to get some water and some this time. Okay, so be right back and see if this opens up or not. Right. Water has been captured. We are hydrated and ready to go. All right. So what we need to do in this particular case is that we have this node right here, and upon interaction we open up a widget which shows us what the node contains. Okay, so if we play from here, select this node, it will say log code for basement is this, right? Pretty basic thing. And one other thing is that over here we can actually change how it looks. So if I magnify this, not magnify, but just expand this, you can see that I can actually press shift enter. Is my shift not working or what? Shift is working. For some reason I am unable to do this. Why? Alright, I don't know why, but let's go to the edit and see for ourselves. For some reason we cannot do this. Mm, text. Du-du, du-du, du-du. Do you see this? So over here we can add as many description as we want, but in when it becomes a variable we cannot do that. For some reason the default value just want to stay one sentence. I don't know why. Oh my god. That was scary. All right, anyways, not anyways, I need to figure this out. I need to somehow make this so that it's a complete paragraph or maybe a letter or something, not just basically this. Huh. Du-du-du. Make literal text, and we can also do it right here. I mean, and if we promote this to a variable, compile it, as you can see, this value, we can do it. But why cannot we do it in this text? Like what? Like what? Where? What do you need from me to for me to be able to do this? Okay, so we're going to delete this text. Okay, we're going to make this instance editable, and going to put this inside the description. Okay, so by this we can, I think, change all of this. How about we do this? Yeah, now we can change everything. So weird. Okay, so now what we need to do is if we go to the correct blueprint camera character, not camera, and now it and now if we go to, let's say, so we have a pickup, yeah, right here. So over here we pick up the item, we set a description to it, and we set it to the player head. Okay, this is the menu that we see whenever we pick up a node. This is not exactly what we want to have. Upon picking up a node, we also want to add this to a particular array section. Okay, and that particular array is going to be like it's going to have but it will be too much. It will be too much. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. Where do we call this? In player heart, right? We get the text, we get the duration. Okay, so what do we do? What do we do? Can you tell me? What do we do? Can you show me? Hello? If we play... Wow, what is happening? Why am I running like this? Why? Alright, so I'm... Um, I don't know why, but I don't want to increase this uh this thing. I don't want to increase this. Well, let's go to the event graph, and over here where we are inside the widget management, we are making the player HUD widget, right? But upon like sequence, we're going to create another widget which is going to be the collection system. Okay, so it's going to be collection menu. Okay, and we're going to promote this to a variable called collection menu, right? And the thing about this collection menu is that we are not going to set it to viewport right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a key event. For now, let's say that when I press I will get this and set is uh, visible, is on viewport, is in viewport. Yeah. So we're going to get this menu and we're going to check, is this menu on viewport? And we're going to basically toggle this with okay? For now, maybe in future, we will see what the player actually uh, presses to get out of the menu. Maybe they just press escape. Then we will do the other things basically based on that. And then we're going to get this again. And then we're going to add to viewport or remove from parent. Okay, if it's true, if this is on the viewport, we're going to remove from parent. And if this is not, then we're going to add to the viewport. Can we not do this? Viewport. Okay. So now if we uh, so now what we want to do is as we pick up this particular object with description, right? And it's also going to have name is note, is going to have an objective. Okay, so objective is type name, and I think we can make this into a text. Yeah. So what we're going to do is go to the test node, going to promote this to a variable, and this is going to be the name of this particular node. Okay. And now let's say that this particular node name is basement low code. Okay. And over here inside the uh where is it, yeah, this one. So over here what we're going to do, let me also like make this readable. I'm sorry about that. And this is going to be description. Do, do, do. Okay, so this is the like first thing that we do when we uh, call the thing. Okay, let's move it a bit much further, then add a sequence. So the first thing that we do is add this to the viewport, okay, so that we can see it. Then we're going to add this to the array. So we're going to get the collection menu, and over here from the name we already know that we are picking up a node. Okay, other arrays, there will be like different ways how we're going to actually change them. Okay, so in the collection menu we're going to set notes collection. Okay, and not exactly set notes collection, we're going to get notes collection. All right, and we're going to add unique. Okay, now we're going to add a unique item to this, and then we're going to make this collection. And then over here, as you can see, we have the button text and description. In the button text we're going to get the objective, so get objective and add that there. And in the description we're basically going to get uh, the description. Right, so what we are basically doing is we are getting the reference for the notes collection, and then we are adding a unique item to this as we pick up that particular note. Now there is going to be another thing that is going to happen. Now once we have picked it up, and if we try to pick it up again, it's going to create multiple instances of the same asset. So what we're going to do is upon interacted, okay, once we have interact with this, we're going to delete this. We're going to uh, maybe make a branch. Yeah, branch. Um, there is I may have to like spawn another node that way. Yeah, we will spawn another node that way. Okay, let's delete both of them. And now what we're going to do, upon picking up the item, we're going to delete or destroy actor. Now, let's see if this works. So firstly, pressing I should bring it up, but it's not bringing it up. Not good, not good. So in the event graph, we have is in viewport. Branch should say false and add this to the viewport, which means print string, it should say hello. But it doesn't. What? What? It doesn't do anything. What? Did it even run? Hey, we're not getting any kind of input. Why? I'm pretty sure that I is working on my keyboard. And what is happening over there? So let me tell you one thing. If this happens to you, if somehow your window that you want to access does this, what you can do to recover is go to the Windows option and go to the load layout. If you have your own custom layout, you can save that and load that one. But I'm just going to go with default editor layout, and it will just like kind of restart everything, but it gives back the asset that we want to work with. So let's put everything back again. And for some reason, this eye is not working. Let me move it to 9. Yeah, for some reason, it's just not working. And we need to figure this out. Consume input, override parent binding, and execute when post. Do you know what is happening here? I know. I do know. um, but I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. Ah, I might have to restart the project because this should not happen. Maybe what we can do is for now, and add this to the flashlight. How about that? So over somewhere here we have the flashlight. I'm going to drag this and put it at the start of this. As you can see, we have the menu. For now, we have like add the cursor and stop the player controller as well. But over here, as you can see, we have Note 1 and control. Just so if I toggle back, go and grab that particular node. Okay. Go back. As you can see, the node is destroyed. And now if I press F, what is this? So yeah, the upper ones are basically the previous one. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to delete them. We have, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So this slot right here is basically printing the next array behind the always existing child. So every time we remove the menu from the parent, remove the menu from the viewport, we basically have to like uh, remove all of these slots. So we can, like, when we open them, it opens as a new window. I just hope that you get all of those stuff. All right, so now what we need to do is basically we need to have a event destruct, and we have to add this array to it. That's it, nothing else. Now the other thing that we have to do is on event construction. Okay, on event construction, we're going to get player controller set input mode UI only, and then we're going to set show cursor to be true. And we also need to toggle this back off over on the complete. So get player set input mode game only, and then we're going to on complete and set the show mouse cursor to be false. Also, to avoid any kind of error, we're going to get the player controller and get is valid, so that it doesn't like cause any message errors that are not really errors. They're just basic messages that sometimes in future, for some reason, this may not work. Okay, those are that kind of error, but whatever. Now that we are in here, we can press F. We keep on walking. Oh my god. Okay, so what we need to do is okay, over here in the event construct, we're going to set global time dilation to 0. Okay, so nothing really moves at this point. And over here, uh, yeah, we're going to set the set input mode. Instead of just UI only, we're going to set input mode game and UI. Okay, and after this, upon doing all of these things, we're going to add the time dilation to 1. So now if we press F, we can go through all of these things like nodes, node 1, code, controls, like click on code. Okay, everything is working kind of nicely. Now we're going to press F and select our node right there. So go over here, pick this up. It says all of these things. We're going to get basement log code, and okay, I don't really know what was that. So for some reason, if I don't click on these things to reset the binding, this doesn't work. Why is that? Why is this a thing? So let's try to fix this. So basically how about we set the time dilation to 0 after we have done the binding, just to be like really sure about everything. Still not working. Um, so time dilation has nothing to do with this, I guess. But if we don't do time dilation at all, yeah, time dilation have nothing to do with this. So let's add it back up. So we set the player game input mode, then we go through a loop. Oh, we are setting up this bind event into a loop when we can just attach it to the complete. All right, let's try that. Uh, Maybe what we can do is make everything empty. You have to click on particular category to get that. Um, really not liking what I'm seeing here, but maybe what we can do is we can delete all of this stuff, right? We can delete all of this, and over on notes, we can add a custom event called default category, and we can add this event to other nodes as well if we have them, and we can call this default category after like a event tag, like delay, give it a delay until next day. How about this? Because this is kind of like pressing the button at that point. Okay, so let's check it out. Okay, it works. It works. Now let's try picking up the event. Not the event, but the node. Okay, back. Right. So we have the codes and everything working. Now let me delete the stuff that is inside here so that we are working on a clean slate. And let's do this. Okay, basement logbook, something like that. Now there is one really good property about this node right here. Okay, and the property about this node is uh, for now it says different kind of values and stuff. Let me show you inside the level blueprint. So somewhere on event 4, nope, yeah, over here. So we get the test node. So this is the test node over here. We get this test node and we find out. So just remember, like few minutes ago we deleted a interacted option, like we were checking if it was interacted or not. So right here we change the description of that particular node depending on if we interacted with this before or not, because that node said not to open the basement door. So if we interacted with this, if that was true, told you should have understood and get out of here. Okay, so basically taunting the player, why didn't you listen to me and stuff like that. And if we never interacted with that, it is saying you should have been here before, now get out. It doesn't make sense. I'm not really good at writing, but whatever. It was kind of dynamic, and I still want to keep it. But now we have changed how the code is working, and we have introduced more things related to nodes. Now we have to update how we are changing these things and how we are going to check them is really good. We just have to get is valid. Okay, we just need to check the validity of this test node. And what this will give us is if we destroy this actor, right? If we picked it up, we destroy it, it's invalid now. So it will do something else. But if we don't destroy it and it's still valid, it's still in the world, then we can change the value that way. Okay. So we're going to set the condition again. And over here, we are setting up the text, but it doesn't say text anymore. So we need to change that. And we need to set value. Okay. Oh, I'm going to keep these same. Okay. Set value. And let's set it over here. All right. So if this is valid, if we have never interacted with this, it should do the opposite. Okay. So if we never interact with this, we didn't destroy the node, then it will say this. But if we did interact with this, we actually do also have to spawn this, right? We have to spawn this test node at the exact location that it is. So that is a problem. How are we going to do that if this is not valid? Get world location. Let me just like check if this works. Okay, get world location, get actor location, and we're going to spawn actor from class, and the class is going to be test node, and spawn transformation. Yeah, I think we should get actor transform, and that's kind of it. Try do not spawn, always spawn, ignore collision. All right, and then we're going to add this to this. Right, let's check it out. Wait a minute. Yeah, this one is going to be here. So I don't remember the notepad code. Give me a minute. Just going to remove the door and let's play from here. So first time we're going to interact with this and then go and change the word. Okay. So if we interact with this, it said jiggly jiggly, but I will change this for now. Let me just okay, so now it is deleted, so it should be invalid. Now let's go change the world. Let us go change the world. Okay, it didn't spawn it right here. Maybe. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, this is super weird. Um, text test node. So as you can see, we do have two test nodes. This is the default spawn test node. Told you I should have understood and get out of here. But we don't really know where is it. Where are you? It is at 000. So absolutely not a great idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this location, this text location uh, before. Okay, so we're going to uh, get this, go to sequences, and this is going to be save location sequence basically. Okay, reroute and get the duplicate paste. Oh my god, let's select this, and now we're going to save get actor transform, and we're going to promote this to a variable, and this is going to be the test note 1 transform. Okay, this can be basically a place where we save all kinds of values and variables. Variable hub. Okay, and let me change the color. It was something like this, 0.5. Okay, and let me also add that. All right, so now this is the variable hub, and we will be able to access this at any time and add any kind of variable. And now what we need to do is get this transform and put it over here. Let's interact with this. And now let's change the word. As you can see, we already have a node placed right here. And because this dialect is not really like a fixed print, it still like prints over the node, which we want to have. But the best thing is if we interact with this node right now, it says told you should have understood and get out of here. But there is one thing. Now if we open up our nodes, there is these two nuns, right? One is the previous one that we interacted with, and the this wait a minute. What? Okay. Not what I expected. Okay, let's change the name. This name is going to be, for now, don't open. Okay. Then we're going to go inside test node, inside prototype field, and then we're going to also set name, and we're going to set name to uh, escape. Uh, get out of here. Uh, and let's put that same thing over here. Sorry about that. All right. So it should work. No. Let's try. Maybe because the name was similar for both of them, it didn't really like add it as a unique thing. Because right now, don't open says that, and we go down and come back. Okay, and now if I interact with this, go back, open up, get out of here. Okay, now it is working. So don't open says that, and get out of here says that. So even if in Node doesn't really exist at this time right here, it still can be like journalized, right? And we can make journals out of this. So pretty good. Now, let's also test what will happen if we don't really going like if we don't interact with this at all. So we're going to play from here. Just change the world without any kind of interaction. Right now, as you can see, there are no nodes at all. And if we go over here, interact with this, you should have been here before. Now get out. Okay. So pretty nice. We can basically make journals now. UI is going to be updated, I know, but it is pretty good for basic prototyping. I'm not even like polishing it right now. So we made a collection slot which we use to add contents to the different categories. The categories are hard coded, but the contents are not. And then we have the test block. Now we can also do something like if there is nothing inside these categories, they are basically invisible. And if the arrays have even one index, they will become visible. But for that, I need different kinds of assets in the world that we can journal into this window right here. But more than anything, what we need to know is why this is not working. So when I press 9, for some reason, this is not printing anything. So I don't know. So let's just create a input for us to have that ability. So input action, IA, collection, yeah, just collection. And let's go to IMC, add that uh, collection, and it will open up by I. Save everything, and let's close them. And let's go to sandbox character, and let's move flashlight to its own specific place, which is right here. Right, and this one will use IA collection. Okay, compile, save everything. Now if I press I, we have all of these codes. Now, let's see what else can we do in the remaining time. So I think because I'm not really going to have keys, they are also going to be part. Uh, do I want to have them as part, or do I still make an inventory? I think we should make a completely centered inventory with slots and stuff. Okay, so notes and files are done. Keys and probably some kind of equipment like torch. Yeah, we can make the torch a asset. Like you have to place them inside your bag, or else like you cannot use it. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So we make a limited space inventory, like very specified slots, and we have to have flashlight in one of them. But like, yeah, we have to have the flashlight in one of them for us to use it. And flashlight is really important because darkness will increase your sanity, which will increase the hallucination and basically make the game harder. All right, so inventory is a go, but I don't think I can do it today. Right, so I will make the inventory, and I think let's make uh, the menus for it. So inside the collection menu, over here we have this, right? This is good, pretty good. But what we can do better than this is we can go inside widgets and HUD, and let's remove collection to inventory, right? And all right, let's save everything. Let's go over here because sometimes the array really doesn't work. So we have to recompile everything. Okay. So now what we want to do is delete this. What? What kind of reference do you have? Okay, whatever. We can delete it afterwards. So what I want to do is let's create a completely new widget, widget blueprint. Okay, it will be a user widget and it will be inventory. Okay, and let's add a canvas panel, and let's add buttons, a horizontal box, and a vertical box. All right, so why do we need all of these things? Firstly, we're going to add the vertical box to every place. Again, this is going to cover up everything in the world. Then we're going to get the horizontal box and add that to the vertical box and duplicate this. Okay, so two horizontal box and make them fill. Now what we're going to do is first horizontal box is only going to take up 0 0.1 and the other one is going to take up 0 0.9. So over here we can have menus, and this button will act as one. Okay, let's also fill this. So over here we can have different menus with padding of 10. Okay, so this can be inventory, this can be collections, notes, journal, this can be map, and this can be something else. I don't know. It can be something else. Maybe it can be character. We can have character customization. Maybe. I don't know. So the other thing that we want to do is get the collection system. So we're going to get the collection menu and add that to the other horizontal box, and we're going to make this fill. So as you can see over here, we can select between different menus And over here we have those menu working integrally forever. All right. But it can cause some problems because we are referencing this collection menu completely independently. Ah. How about we, I mean, we are accessing this, but how about we don't do anything over here? Let's remove this and let's create um, again on widget management. We're going to create inventory inventory and promote to a variable called inventory menu. And now let's go to inventory menu and itself. There we go. We're going to change that. Wait a minute. Okay, so we're going to go over here. We're going to get the collection menu. Okay, so this is only read-only variable. All right. Let's just check. Let's just try to uh, get this to the viewport, basically. Okay, without really changing the collection menu. All right, and then add that to the condition. So that one is working, and for some reason, what? Oh yeah. Wait, yeah. So this over here is our other menu, and now let me see if I grab any kind of node, does it change to this menu over here as well or not? Because if we get this, as you can see, it didn't change into this particular menu over here because we are not changing it over here. So what we need to, oh my god. Hello. Okay. So what we need to do is, instead of it being a collection menu, let's go back to the widget and let's, instead of creating this menu over here, we're going to get collection menu. Okay, and we're going to set that as the collection menu that we have over here. Okay, so hopefully this will work better. And we're going to delete the blur that we have over here. This background blur we're going to delete, and we're going to go to inventory and add a universal blur to this panel right here. All right, and now let's set the blur anchors to every place and blur strength to 50. And now let's test this. You have different menus. For now they're not doing anything, and I will also set up them when we have inventory menu as well. So now we don't have any notes and stuff, but if we go and collect some, like this one, and now if we go, as you can see, we can access this because now we are accessing this particular menu from the inventory menu, which is already created, right? So it's working. Now let me also see if this updates good enough for us to like have everything. So we interact with this, then we will run down, update the world, and then we will come back. Okay, it didn't appear. Okay, it didn't. That was, what kind of delay was that? Okay, so now if I go to the inventory menu, as you can see, we have all of the things. All right, everything is working. Let me wait 1 minute. Close this voice. You guys are not hearing this because of the desktop audio, but um, okay, I will tell you guys later about that. But for now, they are working, and let me see what time. Okay, I mean it's not that late. Let me see if we can solve anything small and we can move forward. Lock algorithms, save, done, menu, done, batteries, done, core locker, done, fuse and fuse box, not really. And what are these? Don't don't even remember them. Right, nothing really is that we can like do it like right now. Okay, then I will like end the stream right here, and we will work on other stuff tomorrow. Right then, enjoy the music for some time, and then see you in the next live. My throat is killing me today, so I accidentally clicked on it. Okay, bye bye, and see you in the next video. See ya. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye.